Hey guys, this is Unit 3, Lesson 4 Solutions. So if you gave these a shot, these are the solutions for Lesson 4. So what we were basically working on in Lesson 4 is shapes and the parameters of shapes. Our new code was background color, ellipse, rectangle. We're getting a little bit more in depth there. So there were a bunch of skill building activities. There was a practice session, there's an assessment, and there's our challenges. So these are the solutions for all of these, except for the challenges. The challenges are on you. The challenges I don't give you the solutions for. All right, so let's look at our first one here. So this one here, if we look at it, we want to make, if we run the program, okay, it says the rectangle blocks have 2 or more parameters that you can control the size. So if you remember over here, rectangle has its X and Y value that shows you where it is on the screen when I show the grid. And the W and the H is the width and the height. Okay, and we can see here that the blue rectangle is, it starts at 100, 100, which is right here. Its width is 100, so there's 100 wide there. And its height is 200, so it'll go down to here. Okay. The red rectangle starts at 250, so here's 100, 200, 50. Okay, oops, sorry, 200, 250, and 100. And it is 100 wide, and it is 150 tall. So if I hit the run program, we can see that. So we have 100 wide, 150 height is the units is the height. So we want to make this appear about 50 longer than this. So we need it to go this length and this length. So if you look at the grid, each section is 50, right? So we have 50 plus 50 is 100. So we want to change the height by adding 100 to that number. So the number is currently 150. If we add 100 to it, whoop, that changes the height to 250. So if we reset it, run the program, there we go. Looks just like the other one. Okay, so we just basically had to change that one number. That's the solution for skill building 2. Moving on to skill building 3. And oh guys, make sure also that you're hitting the finish button every time you do these. That way I can go in and look and see what you did. All right, so this one here, it says write the code that makes an orange ellipse behind the green one. Don't worry about the exact size as long as the green ellipse is entirely inside the orange one. Okay, so if I run the program, look at it right here, it's just going to show me an ellipse that is dead center. It's going to be 200 wide and 150 tall. So if I run it, there it is, 0, 100, 200, and this is 150. And it's at 200, 200 right here. So I want to put a orange ellipse behind this one. Now here's the trick. You want to make sure that the orange ellipse comes before the green ellipse. Okay, so you want to put your fill color up top. Let's change that to orange. And we want to put our ellipse right there. So we want it to also be in the center, because this one is in the center, you can see. Now, if we put 400, 400, what it's going to do is it's going to draw a circle that is all the way around here. So if I reset it and run, there it is. Now, it's really easy to change the width, okay? So remember, that's the width. The 400 is the width. If I want it to be just a little bit bigger than this green one, which is 200, okay? So if I go to maybe 50 more, so the width we can change to 250. That will give me something that looks like that. That looks, I mean, that's perfect. You'll get it. You would get a perfect score for that. In fact, you would have gotten a perfect score for the wider circle too. But I'm going to change this to 350, which is, I mean, there's more than one answer. There we go. That one pretty well looks exactly like that. All right. So that's the solution, one of the solutions, I should say, for skill building 3. Remember, there are multiple solutions. Moving on to Skill Builder 4, this one says it's a background option. It says sometimes you'll want to fill the entire screen with a color. For that, you can use background. It covers everything on the screen with the color you choose. Run the code to see the background work. So let's run it. And there we go. Okay, so it says change the background from yellow to orange. That is pretty easy to do. So there's the yellow. Let's change that to orange. Let's rerun it. There we go. Technically, that's all you need to do, but here's a challenge. There is a purple square that is covered up by the background. Can you change the order of the code so that you can see both the purple and blue squares? Well, if you think about that, if the background is the first thing, then everything else comes after it. So if there is a purple square somewhere on here, if I move this background up to the top, then the purple rectangle and the blue rectangle should show up. And there it is. That's the solution to Skill Builder 4. Skill Builder 5. Background will draw on top of everything already in your drawing, so it's important to think about the order of your code. Let's run this program. Okay, so obviously it says use background to make a black background behind the green circle. Remember, you want the background color to come first. If I put the background down here, type in black, you can see that that covers up the circle. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that my background comes before the other shape. Run it. There you go. That one was super easy. All right, this one here, it's got 4-parameter version of the rectangle and the ellipse, and we're making a simple scene. So there's a rectangle that's blue, a rectangle that's green, and then an ellipse. So it kind of makes a sky, a ground, and the sun. So we want to debug this program, which means we have to run it. So let's run it. Oh, that's easy. So the width of the green rectangle is not wide enough. And if I show the grid, I can see that the width is 200. So let's look for the grass. There he is. So it starts at 0, 300, which is right here. That's correct. And the width is only 200. Okay, we don't need to change the height because it needs to stay 100 right there. But we need to add another 200. So 0, 100, 200. Well, 200 plus 200, that's easy. That's 400. So we type in 400, reset, and there we go. That's the only number that needs to be changed on this particular one. So that is Skill Builder number 6. Okay, so the practice programs here, these are all pretty straightforward. So I'm going to help you with the debugging ones. This one here is, if you chose to do finish the scene, it would be you adding things to what's already here. So, and I mean, I can give you an example of what that might look like. So let's look at this first one. So we want to have this bullseye that's all the colors of the rainbow here. And if you think about it, let's run this program. Aha. So the red ellipse is covering everything up, which indicates to me that it is the last thing down here. And if you look up here at the picture, red should be the first thing here. So this one is a simple moving. So we have to move the fill color and the ellipse all the way up to the top, excuse me, so that it is before the orange one. So with orange one up here. So remember the little trick to move 2 at a time. If you click outside, you can select both of these together, and we can move those both to the top, like that, and that should do the trick. So reset it, and there we go. So now the red one is first. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and that follows along with the picture. So that one was a simple debugging. The next one, this one's a little trickier, okay? So if you look at the code, all right, so debug the code so that the image shows up. So if I hit run, let me make my screen a little bigger. Oops, there we go. I hit run, I don't see anything. Well, first thing I would double check is, do I have a white background on the top? And looks like there is no white background. Okay, but I do have a black, a white, a black, a white, a black, a white rectangle. Okay, so I have all these rectangles, but the key to this one, guys, is to look at the position. Remember, the screen is only 400 wide, and the rectangles say 500. So what you want to do on this one, guys, is you want to change the position, the X position of the rectangles. Okay, these are the size, the width and the height. We're not going to change the sizes, but we are going to change the position. So if you see this up here, this black rectangle, it's 300 by 300. I want to move that from 500, which is over here, all the way over to like here, like say maybe, I don't know, I can make it like 20. So let's try 20. Reset it, run it. Okay, so there's one of the black ones. Let's make this one 30. Let's see what happens. Okay, so 30 by, let's make this like 60. So this one's just kind of a matter of, and it doesn't have to look exactly the same, but you can see that kind of works. This one is 500, which is way too big, so I went 20, 30, let's do 40. 50, 60, let's do 70. Let's keep it a pattern. So let's see what happens. Aha. So we can kind of see, and the thing with code too, guys, is you will notice patterns like this. So I started at 20, I went to 30, I went to 40. Let's make this 50, keep it simple. And the Y value, 50, 60, 70. Let's make this 80. Let's do this one as 60. Let's do this one as 90. Let's do this one as 70. And let's do this one as 100. Let's just keep the pattern going and see what we come up with. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Looks exactly the same. All right, I just made a guess too, guys. The 20, you could have made this 10 and went 10, 20, 30, 40, and it would have looked a little bit different, but that one works. Okay, if I take the grid off there, they look the same. Okay, that's the trickiest one. This one here is you're finishing a picture. Okay, so don't delete anything on here, but add something to make it something. Like this, when I look at this, it looks like a sky and a ground, and this could be it could be the trunk of a tree, so I might want to add some ellipses up the top, or it could be a building, and I might want to put some black squares inside to make them look like windows. So if I go to my grid, if I go here, let's go, this is 200, this is 100, 150. So if I go, let's do a black ellipse. All right. Or sorry, not ellipse, rectangle. And let's make that rectangle really tiny. So let's make it like, I don't know, 25 by 25. So it's a little square. And it's going to start here at, let's go 100, 150 by 200. Okay, 150 by 200. Let's see what it looks like. There we go. So it looks like a window. So I could put, if I wanted to, I could put a couple more windows in here, and I could make it look like a building. You can make it look however you want. Okay, there's no right or wrong answer. Okay, let's move on to the assessment. This assessment's pretty darn easy, guys. So if you look at the program, even before I run the program, so let's see what it says. It says, the grass is working, let's add a cloud to the sky. Unfortunately, it looks a little funny right now. So if I run it, it looks like that. So it's kind of like this, it's stretched out, but the picture that it's running, it's like squished. So it looks to me like the width and the height are reversed. So there is no rotate on this, but there is an easy way to fix it. So it says debug the program to make the cloud wider than it is tall. If you look down here, you look at the X and the Y value, then that shouldn't change. I mean, it should stay like the center of it. We can keep it right there at 150 and 100, but the width is only 100 and the height is 100, 200. So what we want to do is we want to make it look like it's been rotated, but we can't rotate it. So all we have to do is we have to flip-flop the height and the width. So instead of 100, 200, let's make it 200, 100. So now it's going to be 200 wide by 100 tall. And this should do it. There it is, right on the money. Look at the picture, it's exactly the same thing. All right, that's your assessment. So this is these are the solutions for lesson 4. Remember, challenges are up to you. These are actually kind of fun challenges to do. I did notice a bunch of people doing these in class the other day. I don't want to take the time to go through them right now with you, but if you're interested in doing the challenges, then by all means, give it a shot. These are extra credit, okay? I don't, I will give you credit if you decide to do one of these challenges, all right? If you don't decide to do one, then I don't take any points away. So that is that. Those are the solutions for number 4.